Dr. Amara Jones, a highly respected neurosurgeon, embarks on a well-deserved vacation with her young son, Caleb. Their journey, meant to be a relaxing escape, takes an unexpected turn when Amara, dressed simply and confidently, is mistaken for a nanny by several first-class passengers and hotel staff. Subscribe now to keep enjoying the content. In the bustling city, nestled between the towering skyscrapers, there lived a woman named Dr. Amara Jones. Her skin was a deep, rich brown that seemed to glow with the warmth of her spirit. Amara was a renowned neurosurgeon, known for her steady hands and sharp intellect. Her days were a blur of hospital corridors, patients, and complex procedures that could make or break lives. But today was different. Today, she stepped into a world she rarely visited, the realm of luxury and leisure. Amara packed her suitcase with meticulous care, her eyes gleaming with excitement. A well-deserved vacation was just what she needed after the relentless pace of her career. Her little boy, Caleb, was equally thrilled. At 6 years old, he was already a mini explorer, eager to conquer the world outside of their cozy apartment. They were off to a sun-drenched island where white sand met azure waves, a place where time seemed to slow down and stress was a distant memory. The airport was a chaotic symphony of travelers, each with their own stories to tell. Amara and Caleb moved through the crowd with a quiet grace that stood out amidst the rush. She had chosen to wear a simple yet elegant linen dress and sandals that whispered of tropical getaways. Caleb, dressed in a matching outfit, clung to her hand tightly, his eyes wide with wonder. As they approached the first-class check-in counter, Amara felt a thrill of anticipation. This was a rare treat for both of them, a chance to unwind before the adventure began. The attendant at the counter barely glanced at her. "Your passport, please," she said, her voice cold and detached. Amara handed it over with a smile, but the woman's eyes remained glued to Caleb. She took his boarding pass and gave it back with a nod. "Ma'am, you know you're not allowed in this area," she said, her tone dripping with accusation. Amara's smile froze. She pointed to her own boarding pass, which clearly stated first class. The woman's eyes widened a fraction before narrowing into a glare. "Oh," she said, her voice thick with disbelief, "I didn't realize you were with the family." Amara felt a prickle of irritation but brushed it off. She'd faced worse in the hospital. They boarded the plane, and she found their seats, a plush pod of comfort and privacy. Caleb's eyes widened at the sight of the personal TV and the fold-out bed. But before they could settle in, a couple approached, the man in a tailored suit and the woman in a designer dress. They looked at Amara and Caleb with confusion, and then at the boarding passes in their hands. "Excuse me," the man said, "I think there's been a mistake. These are our seats." Amara's heart sank, but she kept her voice calm. "I'm sorry, but I believe we're both in the right place. Please check your boarding passes again." The man's face turned red as he examined the passes. His wife's eyes flicked over Amara, and then to Caleb. "Oh," she said with a forced smile, "you must be the nanny." Amara's patience was wearing thin. She took a deep breath, her hand tightening around Caleb's. "No," she said firmly, "I'm Dr. Amara Jones, and this is my son. We are traveling first class." The couple looked taken aback, but the man's expression quickly morphed into a smug smile. "My mistake," he said, "but it's so easy to get confused, isn't it?" The flight attendant arrived, her eyes scanning the situation. She offered an apologetic smile to Amara. "Let me help you with your bags," she said, her voice sugary sweet, as if she were speaking to someone who didn't know better. Amara's temper flared, but she kept it in check. She picked up her own luggage and placed it in the overhead compartment. "Thank you," she said through gritted teeth, "but we've got it." The couple retreated, murmuring to each other, and Amara took her seat. She looked into Caleb's eyes, which reflected a question she hadn't wanted to answer yet. She took his hand and squeezed it gently. "Remember, baby," she said, "sometimes people make assumptions. It's up to us to show them the truth." Caleb nodded, his eyes still wide but with a glimmer of understanding. The flight was long, and the incidents kept piling up. The flight attendant would hover, assuming she needed help with everything from buckling Caleb's seatbelt to ordering their meals. Each time, Amara responded with a mix of humor and assertiveness, refusing to let the assumptions dampen their vacation spirit. She told Caleb stories of the ocean's mysteries and the adventures they would have once they landed. And with every snide remark or sneering look from their fellow passengers, she grew more determined to enjoy their trip and teach her son an important lesson: never let anyone else define you. Subscribe now to keep enjoying the content. Upon landing, they were whisked away to a luxurious hotel. The lobby was a marble wonderland, with chandeliers casting sparkling lights across the gleaming floor. As they approached the reception desk, the attendant looked over their reservations with a raised eyebrow. "Ah," she said, her voice dripping with condescension, "Dr. and Mr. Jones. I see you've requested the penthouse suite." Amara's smile was brittle. "Yes, that's correct." The woman's eyes slid to Caleb, and she leaned in conspiratorially. "Is he a good boy for you?" Amara's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "Well, I just mean, with you working so hard and all." Amara took a deep breath, her hand tightening around Caleb's. "I'm Dr. Jones," she said firmly. "There's no Mr., and this is my son, not someone I'm taking care of. Now, can you please confirm our reservation?" The woman's cheeks flushed, and she stuttered an apology, quickly handing over the keys. As they headed for the elevator, Caleb looked up at her with curiosity. "Mommy, why did she think you were a nanny?" Amara knelt down to meet his gaze. "Some people don't know that mommies can be doctors too. But that's okay. We know the truth, and that's what matters." The suite was breathtaking, with a view that stretched out to the horizon, where the sun kissed the sea. For a moment, Amara allowed herself to relax. But as she unpacked, she couldn't shake the feeling of being an outsider. She decided to take action, to show them she was not just a mother, not just a doctor, but a force to be reckoned with. The next day, they explored the hotel's private beach, and as Caleb played in the waves, Amara spotted an emergency on the horizon. A swimmer was flailing, and the lifeguards were rushing to assist. Without a second thought, she sprinted to the rescue, her doctor instincts kicking in. As she waded through the water, the lifeguards reached the struggling man, but she was there to offer her expertise. Together, they brought him to shore, and Amara's calm demeanor took over as she assessed his condition. The hotel staff and guests gathered around, their eyes wide with shock and a newfound respect. The hotel manager, a middle-aged man who had earlier offered her a sympathetic nod when she corrected the nanny assumption, rushed over. "Is there anything you need, Dr. Jones?" Amara looked up, the wind in her hair, her son watching her with admiration. "Just some towels, please," she said, her voice steady. "And maybe some fresh water." The man nodded, practically tripping over himself to help. As they tended to the swimmer, the whispers grew louder. It was clear the narrative had shifted. No longer was she just a mother with her child, but a hero, a doctor who had saved a life. And in that moment, the weight of the previous day's indignities lifted, and she knew that she had not only set an example for Caleb but also claimed her rightful place in this world of luxury and privilege. They were no longer just guests, they were VIPs with a story to tell. The rest of the vacation unfolded like a dream. The hotel staff treated them with a newfound respect, and the other guests looked at her with admiration. Caleb, ever the perceptive child, picked up on the change in atmosphere and strutted around the hotel with a proud little chest, telling anyone who would listen about his Dr. Mommy. The vacation was no longer marred by the stains of prejudice but washed clean by the salty ocean air and the sweet taste of vindication. One evening, as they sat on their private balcony watching the sun dip below the horizon, a knock came at the door. It was the hotel manager with a tray of chocolate-covered strawberries and a bottle of champagne. "Compliments of the hotel," he said, his smile genuine. "For your bravery and skill." Amara took a strawberry, the chocolate melting on her tongue as she watched Caleb's eyes widen in delight. "Thank you," she said, "but this isn't just for me. It's for all the working mothers who face assumptions every day." The manager nodded solemnly. "You're right, Dr. Jones. Your story has made quite an impact. We'll be sure to spread the word." As they enjoyed their well-deserved treat, Amara felt a sense of peace settle over her. This vacation had not only been about rest and relaxation but also about reclaiming her identity and proving to herself, and to the world, that she could be both a mother and a doctor, and do it all in first class. The final day came too soon, and as they packed their bags, Amara couldn't help but feel a pang of regret that their island escape was ending. But she knew that when they returned to the city, she would carry the memories of this trip with her like a shield. The next time she faced a skeptical gaze or a misplaced assumption, she would remember the sea breeze in her hair and the respect in the eyes of those she had helped. Subscribe now to keep enjoying the content. As they boarded the plane, Caleb held her hand tightly. "Mommy," he said, "you're the best doctor in the whole world." Amara squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with love and pride. "And you," she said, "are the best son a doctor could ever ask for." The flight home was a breeze, the first-class passengers all giving her nods of recognition and respect. As they descended into the cityscape that was their home, she knew that she had not just survived the vacation but had emerged stronger, ready to tackle whatever challenges came her way, both in the operating room and the boardroom. For she was not just Dr. Amara Jones, neurosurgeon, but a mother who had taught her son that no matter where life took them, they would always be first class. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to help our channel grow.